document that my mother amended a birth certificate.
So after 33 years, you want to bring us up now?
And we're here today to determine if there is enough evidence for this court to order a test. You firmly believe you are Miss Sam's biological father.
Well, she told me she was not sleeping with anyone else.
It's just crazy to me. My whole life is just a crazy mess.
I wasn't good enough.
No, it's not good enough because your dates aren't good enough. The documents prove otherwise. I need this answered.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Sams versus Doris.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Sams, you're here today requesting that this court grant you a paternity test to prove that the defendant, Mr. Doris, the man who is on your birth certificate, is not your biological father.
That's correct.
Mr. Doris, you say that you are heartbroken that Ms. Sams claims you are not her father and say there is no need for a paternity test. You know you are her biological father, and you've never been told differently. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Now, the court must decide if there is sufficient evidence to order a paternity test in this case. Ms. Sams, why do you need the court to order this test?
Well, Your Honor, in 2009, I believe, I went and had a family function with my mother's side of the family. I was speaking with my uncles, and my uncle said to me, "How's your daddy doing since he got out of prison?" So I said, "What do you mean? My dad's never been in prison." And I said, "Who do you think my daddy is?" And he said the other man's name. And I said, we were having some drinks, so I was just, okay, well, I'm going to see Mr. Doris tomorrow, so I'll talk to him about it. So we were sitting at my grandmother's house at the time, his mother, and I said to him the other man's name, and I said, "What is this that I hear about this other man?" And he said, "I never want to hear that name out of your mouth again." And it was ended just like that.
And this was the first time ever in your life that you heard anything like this?
Not exactly. When my sister and I were both pregnant at the exact same time, we were making comments back and forth to my mom because of blood work that had happened. Our lab work was done about the same time, and there were factors in one of our pregnancies that would typically only be if we had the same mother and father. So at that time, I said something to my mom about it, and my mom laughed about it. And she was like, "Well, there was this thing."
But at that, still maintained that Mr. Doris was your biological father.
Never really talked about it. Like, just kind of dropped it.
She knows that. She would have told you.
But
she wasn't.
She did, but right before she died, she said, "I think that you need to have this done." So why would she say that?
What did she say to you exactly, Miss Sams?
She said, "Well, if you have that feeling and we've had all this information, you need to be tested and you need to find out."
And she said that because she just wanted you to be ensured that I am your dad.
Mr. Doris, you've had no doubts all this time. You firmly believe you are Miss Sam's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I was at the hospital when she was born, her first breath. I got the birth certificate. And
I'd like to see that, Jerome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a certificate of birth for Diane Doris, and you're listed as father. You have pictures in your hand. What are these pictures of, Mr. Doris?
Me and her, my little girl.
Beautiful father-daughter pictures.
That's a beautiful picture. However, I don't doubt any of that. I know that he was there when I was born. I'm aware that he's on my birth certificate. I have to know what is going on. For my sake, I need to know.
No doubt in my mind.
And you get very emotional when Miss Sams begins to talk about her doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm entitled to my feelings as well, and I'm entitled to the facts. And I need to know this. I need to know this For me, I need to know. That's why I need your help. I need you to help me and do this test for me. It is so important. I just need to know.
Mr. Doris, what was the nature of your relationship with Miss Sam's mother?
I met her at a bar, and we just clicked right off the bat. I think we were together like 3 months, and we ended up getting married.
Really?
Yes, she was not pregnant when I met her.
Okay.
She wasn't sleeping with no one else but me.
Okay, so you met her, you had sex with her, and then 3 months later you got married. You know when you married my mom?
I think it was October 77.
No, you did not. You married my mom June of 1979 in Oklahoma.
Well, I know we were married in Oklahoma.
So you married her.
So we had
June of
sex
19
before then.
Yeah, you just said 3 months before then.
No. We had sex in 77. 3 months later, I assume we got married.
No, you got married in 79 in June of 1979.
She's saying you got married almost 2 years later.
Yeah, I have the marriage certificate. I have their marriage certificate and divorce decree from my mother's previous marriage to another man that she didn't divorce until April of 1979. This is why I have so many doubts. He just confirms it by, he doesn't remember things. Obviously, he doesn't even remember when he married her.
You are Miss Sam's
Uncle.
You believe you're...
Throughout my life, and people not knowing or giving me straight answers, I need to know. Do not hear what you said about when you were married to my mom, and I'm telling you when you were married, but I am not incorrect about these dates. This is harbored in my heart for years now, and I know my dates about this stuff. I know when my children were conceived. I know when I was conceived approximately, and you're off by 2 years, for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Yeah, well...
I ain't got the best memory in the world.
What she's saying is because you're not clear on all of the facts, it only just increases her doubt that maybe your assertion that you're her biological father is not, it's not firm, it's not accurate.
Well, she's telling me I'm the only one she slept with.
But, well, Miss Miss Sam,
right?
I need you to understand that whether they were married or not, they still could have conceived you, of course.
I absolutely understand.
And he's just presented your birth certificate, which means he was present when you were born.
Your Honor, I honestly believe there was good reason for that. If there was a reason why my mother wanted him to be my father and didn't have the other man as my father, there was a very good reason for it. The other man in 1978, in October of 1978, and did not go to prison until, well, he went to jail, and then he got bonded out, so for trial. And that would make sense why my mom would not want that man in my life.
So after 33 years, you want to bring this up now?
I've been bringing it up. You just don't listen. So I'm just putting all this out there like I'm trying to figure it out in my own head. Why they would do this to me.
And it is confusing.
It's the biggest confusing mess ever. My mom was married 7 times and was single the last 10 years of her life. I have several siblings. It's just crazy to me. My whole life is just a crazy mess. And I need one thing answered for my children and for myself. I need this answered. It's only fair. And now, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disease. And I need to know what side of the family I came from so that my cousins on my mom's side of the family could potentially know what, if they need to be tested and keep up with the blood work and find out if they're carrying mixed connective tissue disease and they have the ADA high levels like me. And they took them, I was diagnosed 10 years later than I should have been. And my doctor has said, my rheumatologist has said, it is genetics or it's predominantly diagnosed in African-American women in childbearing age or in post-menstrual.
Mr. Doris, does this particular disease run in your family?
No, Your Honor.
It does not?
No.
In 1980, my mother amended a birth certificate.
She what?
There were additional certified copies of it.
Your Honor.
I'm entitled to my feelings as well, and I'm entitled to the facts. After my mom died, things got really, really, really interesting because I went to clean out her home and do what I needed to do. And I found a document that in 1980, my mother amended a birth certificate.
Real.
What?
And I have that proof right here.
Jerome, may I see that proof, please?
I don't know if it was because of a spelling error. I don't know why it would have been amended, but like I have so many questions. I don't get it.
So this is paperwork from the state of California indicating that there were additional certified copies of a newly amended birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Doris, you were never told by her mother, informed, or received any notice about an amendment.
No. Hearsay is saying that I'm not your dad. I'm here telling you I am your dad.
Did you not just see an amended document?
Well, I know I was there when you were born, and I know
That doesn't mean...
What she told me, she was not sleeping with anyone else.
Your mom told him there was no one else. It's just all he knows. It's the information he has. I want to hear from your witness, though.
Okay.
Please stand, sir, and state your name.
David Wayne Hooper.
Mr. Hooper, you are Miss Sam's
Uncle.
which would make you her mother's brother. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What information do you have about this paternity mystery?
Well, it was 77, 78 when my sister moved to my hometown. She was with another man at this time, the man that she had mentioned earlier. About a year or so went by, and he was gone, okay? And at that time, my sister had a conversation with my father, saying that she had been a little late. A little further down the line, Mr. Doris comes into the picture. They fell in love. They got married real quick. And then right after the baby was born, they just disappeared.
You believe your sister was already pregnant before she got into the relationship with Mr. Doris?
Unfortunately, yes, ma'am. I truly believe she was.
But you don't know that for sure.
No, and let's be...
Not a fact, no.
No.
Okay.
And is that during the time when she was with this other gentleman? You knew her to be with this other...
This is right after he had gone to jail.
The other man would have been in prison when I was born, okay? However, he was not incarcerated during the time that I would have been conceived. That's the only thing he and I can come up with, because nobody's ever told me or told him or told our family why one day these people just pack up with my other siblings and myself, a new baby, and just take off to California in a car.
We did that because your mom's mom was out there.
She'd been out there the whole time.
Right.
And let's be clear, nobody wants this other man.
Nobody, I'm not.
No,
Oh.
nobody wants this other man to be my father. Let's be clear about that.
My word ain't good enough.
No, it's not good enough because your dates aren't good enough. The documents prove otherwise. Your word is not good enough right now.
And that's why you came here.
Yeah.
And in light of the testimony presented today, especially from Mr. Hooper, who indicated that he truly believed that she was pregnant at that time when she met Mr. Doris. Additionally, the paperwork you uncovered after her death, and also the statement she made to you on her deathbed. This is all sufficient evidence. You are hereby ordered to go immediately, submit to a paternity test, and return to this courtroom where I will read you the results. Are we clear?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.
I'm a basket of emotions. I am scared. I'm excited. I am nervous. I am terrified. I don't know. I won't be relieved until this is over.
She kills me to just let her tell me I'm not her dad. And when I know deep in my heart I am.
We're back in session in the case of Sams versus Doris. Both parties have submitted to the DNA testing that was ordered, and I have the results for you. Before I get to those results, is there anything you'd like to say?
Your Honor, I still believe she's my daughter. I have no reason why not to believe it. No reason, no doubt.
Ms. Sams, is there anything you'd like to say?
I hope he is my father, but I just cannot get over the fact that my mother amended a birth certificate.
And that's exactly why this courtroom exists, to bring clarity to situations like this, so families know how to move forward. I have your results for you. Are you ready?
As ready as I'm going to be.
Jerome, the envelope. Thank you, sir. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Sams versus Doris when it comes to 36-year-old Diane Sams. It has been determined by this court. Now,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Doris, you are not her father. I'm so very sorry.
I told you I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew. I'm so sorry.
I know this was not the news you wanted.
What are we gonna do?
Starts a whole new chapter over again.
What do
There we go, Mr. Hooper. There we go.
What?
Family, the truth is a catalyst
36
for a new
years.
beginning.
36 years.
It can be if you allow it to be. It gives us clarity. You don't have to feel out of place anymore. Now you can choose your place. And that's different.
Amen.
The truth gives you power,
Amen.
right? And as you look to Mr. Doris,
I feel so.
and I have never seen this before, but when I went to read those results and I got that envelope, he held the picture of you and him up to his heart, facing forward. I have never seen a father do that.
He loves me.
He loves you.
I know he loves me.
And in his mind, in his heart, you're his little girl. And look, you're holding his hand in this moment because you're there for him. And he's been there for you. That's what's important. And so as you think about where you go from here, and you think about choosing your place now, don't forget Mr. Doris.
I will never.
All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
We have counseling. We have resources for you. I wish you all the very best of luck. Court is adjourned.
Closed captioning provided by...
One day, it appears.
Is that a dark spot?
Gold.
This is my son, and it was dragged away from me by a conniving man who decided that I'm in between a relationship.
A mother who may or may not know which one, if either, is the father. You say Mr. Flowers is the father.
Yes.
You have no doubt.
Somewhat doubt, but with me and Mr. Flowers,
Somewhat doubt. What has happened since the DNA results were revealed? Find out next. Welcome to a special update edition of Paternity Court. Today we're taking a look at cases where more than one man was tested to determine which one was the father. Now, I don't find out who's the father until I open the envelope. But let's see if you can figure out which man is the dad. Let's begin with a case that lit up social media. Mark Montgomery had no doubts that he had fathered his girlfriend's baby boy, so he proudly named him after his deceased dad. But 3 weeks later, Felicia Parker disclosed that she had a lover and he was her son's biological father.
It's like
I had sex with both of them around the same time and the same day.
The first time she was able to have sex after the baby was born, she waited until after we were done to sit there and
No,
tell
I
him,
had sex
oh,
with Luke
you know,
before I had
he's
sex with you.
you know, I don't think you're the father. I think, you know, Luke's the father. And I'm still laying in the bed with this woman naked.
That's when you decide to tell him?
Yeah, I was hurting.
So clearly, Miss Parker, you're sleeping with both men.
Yeah.
How is it that Mr. Montgomery ends up in the hospital with you?
I thought he was the father.
Did you know as well that there was a distinct possibility that you could be this
Absolutely,
child's
Your Honor,
father?
And I even had stated to her that
I
previously
told
on
him it
Facebook.
wasn't because I didn't want to believe it.
I actually was going to show up to the hospital, but out of respect for her and that unborn child, refused to because I know that it would have caused a disturbance between me and him.
This is my son, and it was dragged away from me by a conniving man who decided to sit there and come in between a relationship.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Montgomery, you are are not the father. Mr. Lanou, you are the father. How do you feel now to know
It's like a
for
weight
certain?
lifted off my shoulder. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure he never has to face a struggle in life.
During the case, Mr. Lanou behaved as though he was going to be the best dad little Timothy could possibly have. But which one of them has stepped up since they left my courtroom? Watch this.
Ever since after the show, I moved back to Ohio to be with Luke. That did not work out too well, so he's out of the picture now.
Afterwards, she came to me and asked me to be a part of Timmy's life, and she wanted me to still raise him as, my own, which I do every day happily, and so I want to thank you for that very much.
It's great to see that Mr. Montgomery is hanging in there and still being a father to Timothy. Now, Artisha Connolly is no stranger to paternity court. She was 23 when she came to my courtroom in search of her biological father. Now, 3 years later, Miss Connolly is herself a mother. When her ex denied being the father, she contacted the court and said there's no way she's going to let her daughter go through what she endured as a child.
As soon as I got to Texas, because I drove straight to his house. That whole week, I had an app that tells me when I was fertile. So I told him that whole week that I'm fertile, so be careful, because we never use protection.
Your Honor, when she came back, she indicated that she had relations with another guy, right? Within the week.
I did tell him when I came back that I had slept with someone else. He's trying to use that as an excuse that guy is the father, which he's not. It's his child.
But given the circumstances of you being there with this guy during this time, you do understand that he really doesn't know what you were doing in Texas.
But it wasn't the same time frame, and I told him.
So at the end of the day, you don't understand his doubt.
I don't.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Haskell, you are her father.
What I tell you?
I just want to be there for our daughter, take care of our daughter.
That's fine.
And, without no drama.
Miss Connolly was right. Mr. Haskell is Blair's father. So does this now mean that her little girl has an involved dad in her life? Take a look.
Hi, Judge Lauren. Since then, me and her mom has been co-parent. I get Blair when I need her. I'm always around her. I want to thank you for all you've done to help me find out that Blair was my child. Thank you.
Now, I found this next case to be particularly interesting. I watched closely as Sierra Bracknell held on tight to her live-in boyfriend during the entire case. She hoped that he, and not her ex-lover, was her daughter's father. You have a family. You have how many other children together?
We have 4 kids, counting Cara.
4?
No, you have 3 kids.
No,
including,
she is the.
No,
so
you have 3. I want to be in my daughter's life, and yes, the name will be changed.
No, it ain't being touched.
And I would like some sort of visitation.
It doesn't matter because she's not yours. I know 100%.
And his name will be on the birth certificate too.
He's actually made our family stronger than trying to push us apart. What he's been trying to.
That's good. I'm not trying to get her back. I'm just trying to be in my daughter's life.
No, you just have
The truth is you're the only father Cara knows.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you tried to be in her life, Mr. Butterfield?
I have. Actually, when I found out about it, I messaged her mom, let him know I was coming.
He texted my mom saying, I'm coming to get that girl. Just all threats.
Well, if I want to be in my daughter's life.
We'll see.
Yes, we were. We'll see right today,
we will.
Won't we? That's why we're here.
During the case, it was clear to see that Mr. Butterfield wanted to be the father. Which man is the father? Find out that and more when paternity court returns. Coming up, do you believe you're Serenity's biological father?
I say it's a slight chance that I am.
1% chance. Why 1%? How did you do that math? Because
I want to be in my daughter's life, and yes, the name will be changed. And I would like some sort of visitation.
It doesn't matter because she's not yours. I know 100%.
And his name will be on the birth certificate too.
That was the case of Butterfield versus Bracknell. Sierra Bracknell had children with Douglas Dallas and hoped that he fathered her 11-month-old daughter, Cara. But did he? Cara's biological father is Mr. Butterfield.
What did I tell you?
It's fake.
What did I tell you?
It's fake. You ain't getting her.
Some of you contacted us on social media and asked if Ms. Bracknell was allowing Mr. Butterfield to spend time with his daughter. Ms. Bracknell recently told us that she is not allowing Mr. Butterfield to spend any time with his daughter. Ms. Bracknell also says finding out the truth has brought her and Mr. Dallas closer together. Moving on, Shantae McGee was a married woman who came to court with her fiancé. That's right. I said fiancé. She came to court with her fiancé to find out if he or her estranged husband bothered her daughter.
The last 4 years with my daughter has been pure hell. He left us homeless with my newborn child.
You haven't helped Mr. McGee?
Your Honor, I don't believe that Serenity is mine, so I didn't see any need to help.
How you not feel she yours when you know me and you were messing around the time I conceived?
No, because you were messing around with multiple.
You was too, and you talk about multiple people before I even had her. I let you know. It ain't like I kept it a secret from you. So this is what
you let him know.
I let him know it was a slight possibility he wasn't my child's father.
Do you believe you're Serenity's biological father?
I say it's a slight chance that I am.
Slight.
I said it's a 1% chance.
Why 1%? How did you do that math?
Because me and him was intimate more than me and him was.
We were not together when she had.
But that's neither here nor there. I know he's my child father, and he needs to step up and help take care of her, because I can't continue to do this on my own.
This case is an example of how questioning a child's paternity can rip a family apart. Find out how things have worked out for the McGees when Paternity Court returns. Coming up, so how long after Mr. Taylor left for Atlanta did you turn to Mr. Green?
A few weeks.
3 days.
Father, and he needs to step up and help take care of her, because I can't continue to do this on my own.
That's the case of McGee versus McGee. Shantae McGee was certain that her estranged husband fathered her daughter. Who was right? It's time to find out. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. McGee.
How you feel now?
Ms. McGee.
You missed all them years.
Ms. McGee, let's be respectful.
Since appearing in your courtroom, it's had to say things between me and my estranged husband, Sir Timothy McGee, has not changed. He has not tried to help me with our daughter, with nothing. Me and John Coley, we still currently together. He's still a great man and an awesome father to my child. I really want to thank you for allowing me to prove that he was my child's father.
Ms. McGee, it's unfortunate that Mr. McGee has not accepted any responsibility for Serenity. But I'm so happy that your fiancé is still a part of you and your daughter's life. Now, we're all familiar with the neighborhood ice cream man who shows up on a hot summer day with some of our favorite treats. Well, Amber White ended up before me because she really got to know the ice cream man. This man, you really wanted to be the father, but you knew you had sex with this man as well.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. William not around, you know, he had stuff for me to do.
You ain't
he was on the ice cream truck, you know, you know, we go to the house, party, do whatever, and, you know, he was somebody to have fun with.
Miss White, you say Mr. Flowers is the father.
Yes.
You have no doubt.
Somewhat doubt, but with me and Mr. Flowers...
Somewhat doubt. Tell me why you believe he is.
Me and Mr. Flowers, that's all we did was have sex. Our relationship was based on sex.
You see the baby? That's your baby. Do you see that baby in me? Bro, that is not my baby. That's your baby. That's not my baby. I can tell he's not mine.
In the case of White versus Flowers, his father is Mr. Flowers.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Jesus.
Ms. White left the courtroom with newfound knowledge of who fathered her son. So, what difference has that made in their lives? Take a look.
Well, basically, me and William were not together, but he is around taking care of Major, doing his things as a father for him. Everybody's all good.
Now, this next case ended up being bigger than we ever imagined. LaJoya Jackson came to court to find out which man fathered her child. She then returned home and got the shock of her life. A man showed up at her door claiming he was her father. Unbelievable. Now let's see what happened the first time Ms. Jackson came to court.
This supposed job opportunity that he had, during this job opportunity, he never sent me or the kids any money. We barely had any contact with him. There was no one for me to turn to but Mr. Green. He was the person there for me, giving me emotional support.
She told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta, just left and didn't want nothing to do with her, but she got 2 kids.
So how long after Mr. Taylor left for Atlanta did you turn to Mr. Green?
A few weeks.
3 days later, she was pregnant by October 12th. I left September 14th. That was less than a month.
No, I didn't do it right away.
Ooh, I'm so mad.
I am praying today that these results show that he is the father of Raymond, because our relationship is riding on it.
I do everything for this child. And the only thing that I do know is that if this child ain't mine, so I'll be walking out this courtroom today a single man.
It has been determined by this court. His biological father is Mr. Green.
I figured.
Well, not long after Ms. Jackson got the DNA results and returned home, she sent this video update.
Well, after we appeared in court, it been very hard on us. I chose to stay here with my family because I love them.
Yeah, for me, the hardest part was just the acceptance that there was nothing I could do to change that, and that I had hurt everybody involved. We do care about each other, and we really want to strengthen our family and not tear it down.
As I said before, Ms. Jackson wasn't done with DNA testing. Her parents had been married for 23 years, and by all accounts, they were a happy family. But Ms. Jackson says all that changed when a stranger showed up at her door and said he was her biological father. So Ms. Jackson returned to court with her mother and the man she called Daddy to find out the truth.
We were out of state. We just moved here. And a guy just randomly came up to my door and was like, "Oh, your mom told me where you live at. I'm your father. I went to jail, and your mom said another guy was your father because she didn't want nobody not to be there for you."
And you and Ms. Peterson, you've been together for how long? 23 years?
Yes.
You've kept the secret this long, Ms. Peterson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
I didn't want to harm my family.
Did Mrs. Peterson say to you, "I'm pregnant and you're the father"?
She said it. I could be the father.
You could be. Are you saying that if you are not LaJoya's biological father,
I'm gone.
you are going to get a divorce? You're going to pursue a divorce?
I'm gone.
Every day when I gotta wake up and see that y'all arguing, you sleeping in the car, and this guy right here just sitting there looking like, "Oh, this doesn't affect his life, and you ruining my family."
Wow, a 23-year deception. How did things turn out in court, and what's happened since they got back home? I'll have the answers for you when Paternity Court returns. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Beckham, you
Will a paternity...
You gotta witness this.
You were exclusive?
No, ma'am. She was married at the time.
Lauren Lake's Paternity Court. Be a witness.
Testing for Paternity Court provided by DNA Diagnostic Center. Visit mydnatest.com.
Did Mrs. Peterson say to you, "I'm pregnant and you're the father"?
She said it. I could be the father.
If you are not LaJoya's biological father, you're going to pursue a divorce? Welcome back. You saw the case of Peterson v. Peterson. Milton Peterson brought his wife to court after another man claimed he was their daughter's father. How did it all turn out? Take a look. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Beckham, you are not her father. Mr. Peterson, you are not her father.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Every time though, like I came and asked you, just tell me before we go, do you know? Oh, I know he's the father. I thought you knew, Mom. I thought you knew.
I'm sorry. Mr. Peterson and Ms. Jackson were overwhelmed by the DNA results, and Ms. Peterson was afraid that her 23-year marriage was over. So what's happened to this family? Take a look.
It seemed the hardest thing to deal with and to process was just the fact that, you know, there was the possibility of us not being a family anymore. We are still a family. My mother and my father, of course, they're great people, so it's going good. We're working it all out, I guess.
It's been said that where there is love, there is hope. And I'm really hoping Mr. and Mrs. Peterson can work through their issues and keep their family together. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear from you. So please remember to join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time when Paternity Court is back.